Solar 3.0 has finally arrived, and along with all the content in Season of the Haunted, there is plenty to be excited about in Destiny 2 at the moment. The Solar Titan subclass was already extremely strong, boasting access to insane healing, ability regeneration, and massive crowd control. Thanks to some new perks, synergies, and balancing changes, this build will transform your Titan into the unkillable solar tank it was always meant to be. What's up guys, my name is PixarDonks and welcome to the channel. I play Destiny 2 on Xbox, and my goal with this channel is to provide you guys with creative builds, tips specific to my fellow console gamers, as well as cover niche topics I haven't seen anyone else cover. That's it for the intro. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's hop into the video. While certainly not as flashy as the explosions and overshields seen on Void 3.0, Solar 3.0 brings its own plethora of unique options to the table that, in my opinion, make Titans the premier PvE option this season. Frustrate Legionnaires aboard the Leviathan as you laugh in the face of their attempts to take you down before retaliating with ridiculous damage of your own through the power of explosive solar light. Let's hop into the build. Let's take a look at our Week 1 Solar 3.0 Tank Titan build. This build will revolve around the exotic helmet, the loreley Splendor helm, the 5 brand new Solar 3.0 keywords, as well as some recently added, buffed, and reprised weaponry. Our top slot weapon of choice will be the brand new legendary rapid fire fusion rifle, Riptide. Bungie changed the PvE landscape last season with the Deliverance, the first ever stasis fusion rifle, and the Riptide serves as a worthy successor. Rapid fire frames are extremely viable in PvE, and this weapon can roll with some insane perks, with my personal god roll consisting of auto-loading holster and chill clip. In addition, this weapon is much more accessible as it is not locked behind an endgame activity such as a raid. This weapon is the new Crucible playlist reward and can drop upon match completion. Our middle slot weapon of choice is the reprised lightweight SMG, the Callus mini tool. Not only is this SMG solar, allowing us to buff its damage through Font of Might, but it can also roll the brand new perk, Incandescent. This perk causes enemies defeated using the weapon to spread the new Scorch status effect to nearby targets, complementing additional methods of applying Scorch within the subclass. Additionally, the brand new origin trait, To Excess, gives an increase to strength and discipline when defeating a target with full super energy, further feeding into our ability regeneration. This weapon can be obtained after obtaining an opulent key and opening its corresponding chest within the Leviathan. You will also eventually be able to get this weapon through focusing Umbral Engrams in the helm, as well as crafting your own after obtaining its pattern on Mars. Our bottom slot weapon and exotic of choice is the brand new Duality Dungeon sword, Heartshadow. I managed to get this to drop from my first ever completion of the dungeon, and while I haven't had the most playtime with it yet, I absolutely love the design. Its exotic perk causes heavy attacks to fire void projectiles and turn the user invisible, while its intrinsic trait, Shot in the Dark, increases weapon damage and weakens targets while the user is invisible. This weapon is more suited for a void build, however, being able to turn invisible on a Solar Titan is pretty cool. Heartshadow can be earned as a random drop from the new Duality Dungeon, however, you can increase your chances of getting one by completing the dungeon solo, on Master, or by collecting all of Callus's repressed memories. I have had an extreme love-hate relationship with the loreley Splendor helm, as the Bungie developers desperately try and balance this juggernaut of an exotic. While its inclusion in the game might have led to the damage bonus from Sunspots getting the axe, its utility more than makes up for the nerfs it has brought on. It is genuinely difficult to die while wearing this helmet, and it is currently the only way in the game to stack the new Restoration status effect to ×2. This helmet can be earned through a solo legend or master lost sector, or can be purchased from Xur on the weekend. Before covering armor mods, there are a few things to note about the stat distribution you should be targeting when running this build. I'm sure you've all heard the news, but tier 10 resilience is pretty broken right now, granting 40% damage reduction in PvE. For context, pre-nerf Protective Light or post-buff Well of Tenacity both have a 50% damage resist value, while also requiring much more gameplay investment. This will also allow us to take advantage of the loreley Splendor helm as much as possible, as our barricade will be on an incredibly low cooldown. Strength and recovery are much less important in this build, as the throwing hammer can repeatedly be picked back up to refund its charge, while the amount of healing, Cure, and Restoration packed into this build make it viable to run a lower recovery stat. Taking a look at our helmet, I have set it to the Solar Energy type in order to slot Solar Siphon, allowing our solar weapons to create orbs of power, as well as Well of Life, which provides ridiculous healing upon picking up a solar well. Finally, the new artifact mod, Unquenchable Thirst, increases the buff to discipline and strength granted by the 2XS origin trait found on the Callus mini tool. Moving on to our gauntlets, I have set these to the Solar Energy type in order to slot Impact Induction, giving us a chunk of our grenade back on each throwing hammer kill, as well as Bountiful Wells, which allows other well making mods, such as Melee Well Maker, to stack. I have set our chest to the Arc Energy type in order to slot the new artifact mod, Armor of the Dying Star, which combines solar and void resistance into one mod. By slotting arc resistance as well, you are able to cover all 3 damage types through only 2 mod slots. Melee Wellmaker is extremely powerful when combined with the throwing hammer, as the near 100% uptime on this ability allows you to create 3 to 4 solar wells seemingly whenever you want. Our legs have been set to the Solar Energy type in order to slot Recuperation as well as Innervation. This means anytime you pick up an Orb of Power, you will not only get a burst of healing, but also a portion of your grenade back as well. Finally, another Melee Wellmaker mod will stack with the one on our chest piece. Finally, our mark has been set to the Void Energy type in order to slot the mod Perpetuation, which reduces our class ability cooldown when we use our class ability. I have also slotted Font of Might, as the damage bonus can be procced near instantly by simply throwing your mini hammer at the closest target. The resulting wells buff our solar weapons considerably and seem more valuable to me than a third Melee Wellmaker. Solar 3.0 brought 2 massive changes to the Titan class, and while the new Consecration Melee ability is arguably the coolest in the game, this build focuses on a previously unobtainable synergy between the other 2 aspects, Roaring Flames and Sol Invictus. Roaring Flames allows kills with solar abilities to increase their damage, stacking up to 3 times, while Sol Invictus allows the user to create sunspots by defeating enemies with solar abilities. These sunspots not only provide AoE damage and ability regeneration, but upon entering one, also grants the user restoration. The fragments we will be using to complement these 2 aspects are Ember of Torches, Solace, Ashes, and Singeing. Torches allows for powered melee abilities to grant the user Radiant, while Solace extends the length of Radiant and Restoration effects. Ashes causes us to apply more Scorch stacks to a target, while Singeing grants us class ability energy upon scorching enemies. Finally, I highly recommend Rally Barricade, the throwing hammer, and the fusion grenade to fill out the rest of your class. Rally Barricade is on a lower cooldown than the Towering Barricade, allowing us to take advantage of loreley Splendor Helm more often. The throwing hammer becomes stronger than most special weapons when combined with Roaring Flames, and the fusion grenade applies the second most amount of Scorch of all grenades, while also being the second fastest to recharge. This is extremely important to every Guardian, but especially to those playing on controller. Make sure you bind your charge melee ability before attempting to run this build. Auto melee makes it impossible to throw your hammer close to an enemy, as you will default to a punch, and this positioning mechanic is crucial to the success of this build. Once you have it set, practice bonking your enemies from close range so that the hammer bounces instantly back into your hands. It will take some getting used to, but in general, aim further down than you are used to until you find the sweet spot between being able to hit enemies and not throwing your hammer 500 feet off the map. That's all for today's video. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end. I hope you found this guide useful, and I hope to hear the sweet sound of some satisfying bonks from my fellow Solar Titans in the near future. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for any and all future content, and comment down below. What 3.0 subclass are you enjoying the most this season? Until next time, PixarDonks has left the building.